Alright, guys, how are y'all? Y'all know how it goes. I'll wait a few minutes and give people time to come in. And I'm eating as well, so y'all bear with me. Hey, Miss Monique, how are you, honey? I don't blame you there, Monique. Definitely make sure you stocked up on what you. Well, I was muted there. I don't blame you there, Monique. Definitely make sure you got what you need, honey. Hey, Omar, how are you, honey? I'm glad, Monique. I'll finish eating after the live. Went and got some ham and beef breadsticks from where I used to work at. We'll uncover quite a few things today. I actually just got back from going to a place here that sells Amazon products that you know got sent. You can't use or what? Well, not use, but what people was actually wanting. Hey, yo, ho. Take your time, honey. And then at 7:30, I'll be heading out for South Carolina. It may very well be, Monique. I figure it won't be but maybe a week or two before Potato Head does that here. Hey, Jen, how are you? Right, Jen. I actually slept later today than I meant to. But you know how it is when you're going to be riding for about 6 to 8 hours. You need all that sleep you can get. We are going to Columbia, South Carolina to drop off my best friend's son and daughter in law so they can go visit her family. Hey, Ghetto, how are you, honey? I actually caught a little bit of it earlier. I'm gonna go back and finish watching it. I wasn't there for the live, but I watched a little bit of the replay. I also caught a couple of the other ladies as one of them's live and the other one's video. I'm just trying to. I'm not. I'm not spying on nobody. I just like to know what's going on. But let me go ahead and address that while we're kind of on the topic. Um, as I told Hutch in his comment section from his live earlier, I will always have his back. I will always have Tribe and Native and Josh and Backwoods and POTB's backs. They've always had mine. They've always been nice to me. They share my channel out, but this ain't about sharing out channels. They're good people. And that's just how I feel, just like everybody in this chat. I'll have your back no matter what. And I'm pretty sure that, they keeping a close eye on everybody's channels and whatnot. It is what it is. You're very welcome, Monique. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get started on the news. I swear my laptop hates me just about as bad as my phone does. It is, Jim. It really is. I agree, Monique. I agree. All right. Once it gets pulled up here. Progressives demand Potato Head act alone to implement agenda after Manchin kills massive spending bill. Psaki said no conversations yet on executive action, but did not take it off the table. House progressives are calling on Potato Head to use his executive power to implement parts of Democrats' massive legislative agenda, which stalled out in the Senate this month when Senator Joe Manchin said he cannot vote for it. Today, the elected leadership of the Congressional Progressive Caucus is calling on the leader and all Democrats who believe in the need to build back better for climate care, immigrants, and those seeking economic dignity and opportunity to come together and deliver for the American people, the Congressional Progressive Caucus said in a statement. That means a whole lot of government approach continued in Congress. We will continue to prioritize a legislative path for Build Back Better. In the meantime, the White House must continue to act on a parallel track by using the president's incredibly powerful tool of executive action. Progressive Congress Progressive Caucus Chairwoman Representative Pramila Jai Powell, Democrat of Washington, said earlier this week that she hopes Potato Head will act alone to implement parts of the reconciliation bill. There's too much at stake, and there is a very powerful tool in Potato Head's ability to take executive action. Okay, come on. White House Press Secretary Peppermint Patty said Monday that the White House hasn't had significant conversations yet on taking executive action regarding the bill, but did not take the option off the table. We have used executive authority and executive action for a range of steps to make a range of progress, and the president has not hesitated to do that. The benefit of legislation is obviously it makes it permanent, she said, so there's a lot of value in that. It's not clear what exact provisions of the bill the White House could enact on its own. By its nature, the reconciliation spending bill appropriates a massive amount of additional funding for new and existing federal programs. Because it's Congress' job to appropriate money, Potato Head's authority will enact many of the expensive programs will be highly limited, and such actions could be the subject of lawsuits that argue the president overstepped his authority. But previous presidents used the limited discretion available to them to enact significant policies through executive action, sometimes finding a way to redirect money from one part of the government to another. Former President 45 did this to find money for a border wall with Mexico during his term. The Progressive Caucus said it plans to detail which actions it says the White House can and should take as Congress continues to try and find the votes to pass Democrats' ambitious agenda. Okay, guys. I mean, that's pretty much self explanatory there. You know, they're still trying to push through you know, what's being, tried to stop. Hey, Bug. Hey, Jeep. Stars. How are y'all doing today? Sorry I didn't speak when y'all come in. Uh, yeah, Ghetto, how'd you say? I'm glad to see y'all in here. But I did go back and look at this bill. I'm gonna read it before I read the next article that I actually have pulled up. And this comes from the White House itself, its website. I usually do not go to their website because, well, we know how if um, Potato Head's online, give them well, the website will. All right, come on now. Potato Head believes that there's no greater economic engine in the world than the hard work and ingenuity of the American people, but for too long the economy has worked great for those at the top. While working families get squeezed, Potato Head promised to rebuild the backbone of the country, the middle class, so that this time everyone comes along. The Build Back Better framework does just that. This framework will set the U.S. on course to meet its climate goals, create millions of good paying jobs, enable more Americans to join and remain in the labor force, and grow our economy from the bottom up and the middle out. Here's what the Build Back Better framework will mean for Linda from Peoria, Illinois. Linda is a working mother in Peoria, Illinois. She works at a local manufacturing facility as a production worker and earns 40,000 a year. She is pregnant with her son Leo. Once Leo is born, Linda begins receiving child tax credit of 300 per month, 3,600 annually, to help cover essential costs like the groceries, rent, and medicine. As Leo grows up, the government helps cover the cost of his daycare, guaranteeing that Linda doesn't need to pay more than 7% of her income on childcare. When Leo turns 3, he attends a high quality pre K program for free. When Leo leaves high school, he's able to enroll in a community college thanks to extended Pell Grants and investments in community college. Thanks to his community college training, Leo adds a good paying union job as a wind turbine technician. Leo's job is one of 4 million new jobs a year that are supported by Potato Head's economic plan. Later in life, Linda needs home care and hearing care. Thanks to Potato Head's plan, Linda can access affordable hearing care through Medicare, and Leo is able to afford at home elder care for his mom. You know, for some reason, this whole Build Back Better thing just it seems shady to me. It does sound that way, Monique. It really does. Oh, I've been on their list for years, G. You did do good over there, ghetto, though. It is, Monique. Oh, wow, ghetto. Can I come be your 10-year-old? I take $100. You know I'm just messing with you. It is, Monique. It really is. That's exactly what they're trying to do. They are stars. They're really going nuts over it. You're right, Jeep. Used to, I thought you was supposed to trust the government. But as an adult, each election's just got worse and worse. That's exactly right, Jen. They're trying to get it where we get money. Ghetto. Exactly, Jen. Nothing's free. Not even freedom's free. Ghetto. Uh, all right. On to Joe. Yeah, Joe Manchin. For some, and of course, being back here in my bedroom, the internet wants to crawl. Funny thing is, on my phone, it don't do that. Joe Manchin just killed Build Back Better and saved the U.S. economy in the process. I may end up having to go outside. All right, come on. Lord, I'm about going to these forbidden websites today. I do not want to sign up. There we go. There's that X. In an interview on Sunday, Senator Joe Manchin, Democrat, West Virginia, struck what will likely be a fatal blow to Democrats' BBB Act, telling Fox News he will vote no on the $2 trillion legislation. If I can't go home and explain to the people of West Virginia, I can't vote for it, and I cannot vote to continue with this piece of legislation. I just can't. I've tried everything humanly possible. I can't get there, Manchin said on Fox News Sunday. Manchin's decision to effectively end Democrats' chances of passing their BBB poses significant political problems for his party, which has repeatedly promised its liberal base that it would usher in big and bold reforms. Nearly 1 year into the Potato Head presidency, Democrats have secured few signature legislative victories, and with the president's popularity plummeting, it doesn't seem likely the BBB Act will be among them. Many congressional Democrats have rallied against Manchin for refusing to toe the party line on one of the most expensive bills in U.S. history. But the truth is that by rejecting the BBB, Manchin likely saved the American economy from sliding into a reckless and potentially disastrous economic hole. If BBB became law, it would have very likely required trillions of dollars in additional debt or tax increases over the next decade, spurring inflation and killing economic growth in the process. Despite repeated promises from Potato Head that BBB will cost $0, the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office has estimated that the bill would add 365 billion dollars to the national deficit over the 2022-2031 period, not including the 207 billion dollars in additional revenues that could be added by increasing tax enforcement measures and expanding the Internal Revenue Service. Okay, guys, look at that year right there. I know, they talking about the 2030, but that's 1 year after 2030. Just pointing that out. This, however, is a widely misleading estimate because the CBO's calculation assumes that many of the BBB's largest programs and tax credits will be allowed to expire in some cases after only a single year. This is incredibly unlikely and gives false sense that BBB is much more affordable than it actually is. Guys, it's like we're just saying nothing's free. Not even freedom's free anymore. It's never been free because someone has always had to die for freedom. Hey, Andy, how are you, honey? Hey guys, can y'all hear me? I have no clue what happened there. Hello? Good deal, Ghetto. Thank you very much. Here I was just going off, talking about the army developing, and I come back over to talk to y'all, and boom. I'm like, wait a minute, where'd everybody go? What happened? Good deal. But basically, what I was saying there, the army has developed, a jab to so-called protect from the illness. Right, Ghetto? Unfortunately, I won't be able to be there tonight, but I'll definitely catch the replay unless y'all still live when I get back. Yeah, definitely drop links in the chat. Y'all know me, I support all channels. Oh no, no, no! You do not want me to dance on a pole. I'm clumsy as hell. Thanks for the offer, though. All right. Oh yeah, I gotta go back and hit the share button. All right. U.S. official meets with Israeli Prime Minister on Iran nuclear deal talks. Jake Sullivan called for a common strategy as world powers continue to negotiate a new nuclear deal. U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan met as Israeli Minister Naftali Bennett, calling for a common strategy as world powers continue to negotiate a new nuclear agreement with Iran. Bennett, meanwhile, warned during the Wednesday meetings that negotiations in Vienna on Iran's nuclear program had profound ramifications for Israeli security. Bennett's government has remained firmly opposed to continuing international efforts to revive the 2015 accord that saw Iran agree to curbs on its nuclear activities in exchange for sanctions relief. Former U.S. President number 45 withdrew from the agreement in 2018 and instead began a campaign of maximum pressure sanctions against Tehran, who in turn flouted commitments under the deal. Sullivan said on Wednesday his visit to Israel had come at a critical juncture. It's important that we sit together and develop a common strategy, a common outlook, and find a way forward that fundamentally secures your country's interest and mine, Sullivan said, according to an Israeli government statement. He did not directly mention Iran, but the Israeli statement said the meeting focused on the Vienna talks, which are expected to soon enter their eighth round. Bennett has called for the negotiations to be halted, accusing Iran of nuclear blackmail and charging that revenue it gained from sanction relief would be used to acquire weapons to harm Israelis. What happens in Vienna has profound ramifications for the stability of the Middle East and the security of Israel for upcoming years, Bennett told Sullivan, according to his office. Sullivan also met with his Israeli counterpart, Eyal Holeta, as part of the U.S. Israel Strategic Consolidated Group on Wednesday. The delegations discussed the need to confront all aspects of the threat posed by Iran, including its nuclear program, destabilizing activities in the region, and support for terrorist proxy groups, the White House said in a statement describing the meeting. I still say the East Coast time is the best. But you know, I honestly believe that 45 was right in pulling us out of those talks. Um, the Iranian government is not to be trusted at all.
I was just letting you know Brandon was on the way from Douglas. Mama said you locked him while I went to the store. Sorry.
So, we definitely need to keep an eye on this situation. I mean, that's just my opinion, but we definitely have to keep an eye on the situation and know what's going on. All right, on to Russia. Putin blames West for tensions as fear rise over Ukraine. Russian president says he is not seeking bloodshed in Ukraine and explains his fears of NATO expansion. Russian President Vladimir Putin has blamed the West for escalating tensions in Europe, saying it had incorrectly assessed the outcome of the Cold War. Speaking to senior military officials on Tuesday, Putin said Russia would respond adequately to any Western aggression would develop its army further. Why did they expand NATO and renounce the missile defense treaties? They are to blame for what is happening now for the tensions building up in Europe, Putin said, reiterating his demand for guarantees from the U.S. and its allies that NATO will not expand eastwards. After what it regarded as its victory in the Cold War, Washington's judgment has been clouded by euphoria, he said, leading it to poor policy choices. According to Washington, Russia has amassed tens of thousands of troops on the border with Ukraine. Moscow has also demanded that NATO refused to accept the former Soviet Union Republic as a member and guarantee that no weapons or troops will be deployed there. That demand contained a proposed Russia US security treaty and a security agreement between Moscow and NATO. Was drafted amid soaring tensions over the Russian troop buildup that has stoked fears of a possible invasion. On Tuesday, German Chancellor Olaf Scholz expressed his concern about the buildup in a phone call with Putin. Yeah, Putin. There we go. Yeah, Putin, according to a German government spokesperson. The govern the German chancellor expressed his concern about the situation and spoke about the urgent need for de escalation, the German spokesperson said in a statement. Russia has denied its plans to attack its neighbor, but pressed for legal guarantees that would rule out NATO expansion and weapons deployment there. According to readouts released by the Kremlin, Putin on Tuesday informed French President Emmanuel Macron about Moscow's diplomatic efforts on the subject and gave Scholz detailed comments on the drafts, Russia US security treaty, and a security agreement between Russia and NATO submitted last week. In the conversation, Scholz' hope was expressed that serious negotiations would be organized on all the issues raised by Moscow, the readout said. Putin said during the meeting with senior military officials on Tuesday that he hoped for constructive talks with Washington and Brussels on Russia's demands. Armed conflicts and bloodshed are absolutely not something we would choose. We do not want such a scenario, Putin said. We are extremely concerned that elements of the U.S. global missile defense systems are being deployed next to Russia. He added, specifying that Romania and Poland would soon be capable of launching Tomahawk cruise missiles. He said Russia's proposals were no ultimatum, but had nowhere to retreat over Ukraine. Speaking at the same meeting, Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu, I'm guessing that's how you would say that, said the U.S. had deployed about 8,000 troops near Russian borders and alongside NATO allies frequently mounted flights by strategic bomber planes close to Russia. Attempts by NATO to get the Ukrainian army involved in the alliance activities present a security threat, he said. Earlier on Tuesday, a senior Russian diplomat said contacts had already begun between Moscow and Washington on the issue of security guarantees that Russia is seeking, and there was a possibility that the sides would reach an understanding. Guys, it wasn't but just a couple of weeks ago that Putin said that the U.S. and Russia would never be friends. You know, so you know, who do we trust? I mean, we know we can't trust our government. Thank y'all for putting out the links. I appreciate that. But that's, what we need to do. We need to stick together as a community, and promote each other. We need to build each other up, not tear each other down. I've made it known I do not trust Russia. I also do not trust the U.S. And yes, I live in this country, but still. We all know you can't trust your government no matter where you live at. I know Doc said last night that he's lost, I can't remember if he said 30 or 60 subs. Every couple of days I lose subs and then, I gain them back. So he does have an agenda bug, I agree. I really and truly don't trust him either, Monique. I understand, Bug. Ghetto, how dare you? All right. Now, this right here should really worry us. Russian citizens are now being prepped for nuclear war. The rhetoric on Kremlin funded state television is amping up the sense of urgency around Russian President Vladimir Putin's NATO ultimatum. Olga Skabeva, the host of state TV show 60 Minutes, said Tuesday. The level of anxiety has reached its maximum. We are 20 days away from the expiration of the ultimatum, and the stakes are rising, even though it seems they couldn't be any higher. One day after Moscow submitted a draft of its Russia US security treaty containing demands that NATO roll back its military deployments in Europe and deny membership to Ukraine and other post Soviet countries, Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Rybak threatened that Moscow would raise the stakes if the West didn't treat its demands seriously on Monday. He told Interfax that Russia needs answers urgently because the situation is very difficult. Pro Kremlin propagandists and state media experts filled in the blanks with what kind of escalation should be expected on Sunday's edition of the News of the Week. State TV host Dmitry Kesselov explained Russia prepared and handed over to the Americans its written proposals on strategic stability, or more simply, on the prevention of nuclear war, since we are already at a critical point, to be honest. It's simple. The US and NATO must roll back from our borders, otherwise, we will be figuratively speaking, roll up to their borders and create symmetrical, unacceptable risk. If you put a gun to our head, we will respond in kind. The whole point is that the development of the Ukrainian territory by the Western Bloc is not only Ukraine's business, this is a complete breakdown of global balance, which poses an existential threat to Russia. In other words, for Russia it is a matter of life and death. We will simply not allow it, regardless of the cost to us and regardless of the cost to those responsible for it. So, you know, Putin and them's threatening nuclear war and preparing their, you know, preparing their people. I agree, Jen. But they're preparing their people for possible nuclear war. Why is it our country saying anything? Because we know if Russia goes to lobbing nukes at us, that we're going to do the same thing to them. I agree, Bug. I completely agree. Ukraine military conducts drills with the U.S. nuclear missiles near separatist region. Ukrainian military forces have conducted combat combat drills with U.S. made Javelin anti tank missiles in a conflict area with separatists in eastern Ukraine as tensions run high with Russia. Ukrainian Dom television channel said on Wednesday. Ukraine, which seeks to join the North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or as we know it, NATO, has since 2018 received a series of consignments of U.S. ammunition and Javelin missiles, prompting criticism from Moscow. Kyiv accuses Moscow of massing tens of thousands of troops in preparation for a possible offensive, raising fears that a simmering conflict in Ukraine's eastern Donbass region could erupt into open war between the neighbors. Russia denies planning any attack but accuses Ukraine and the U.S. of destabilizing behavior and assaults security guarantees against NATO eastward expansion. Russia held its own military drills nearby, the Interfax news agency reported on Wednesday. Su 30 fighter jets and Su 24 bombers from the Black Sea Fleet did aerial refueling exercises over Crimea, the Black Sea Peninsula, which Russia annexed from Ukraine in 2014. The flights were conducted in the sky over Crimea. Interfax quoted Russia's Black Sea Fleet as saying around 20 pilots practiced complex flight tasks, it said, which included mid-air refueling at altitudes ranging from 2,000 to 6,000 meters at speeds of around 600 kilometers. Ukrainian top officials Alexei Danilov said on Wednesday 122,000 Russian troops were 200 kilometers or 124 miles away from the border with Ukraine. Danilov told Reuters last week that Russia would need at least 500,000 to 600,000 soldiers at the border in order to keep the situation under control in the event of an offensive. He also said Russia could increase troop numbers very quickly at any moment, but would need more than 24 hours to bring enough troops to the border to mount an invasion. Ukraine is the focus of consultations between Western allies and Russia, which has been urged to open negotiations in the so called Normandy format, which would bring together representatives of France, Germany, Russia, and Ukraine. Dialogue with Moscow is necessarily, be it in the Normandy format or through talks at the Russia NATO Council, German Foreign Ministry, Anna Annalena Baerbock said on Wednesday. There we go. You know, Russia and Ukraine's been going at it for years. And of course, as always, the U.S. is trying to play big brother. They have for since the beginning of the nation. You know, whether it was here on the homeland or across the sea. The U.S. has been in every major conflict around the world. And it's sad. At least to me, anyway. Excuse me. I seriously think I'm trying to catch a cold. Uh-oh. Ghetto, what you doing? Oh my God, Ghetto. Really? I agree, Ghetto. You know, in Ezekiel, when it talks about Israel getting attacked, nobody comes to the aid of Israel. And I'm going to tie into that. I'm not saying I know the Bible because nobody truly knows, what the authors of the Bible meant, in most cases. And there's been so many different translations of the Bible because it was originally written in Hebrew. But, oh, that's sweet Ghetto. A bunny named Ghetto. Hmm. But anyway, but um, it talks about. Sorry, I got distracted. But it talks about Russia getting not Russia, Israel getting attacked, and the only thing that's on save Israel is that God, the hand of God protects them. It does not speak of the U.S. coming to Israel's aid, England, France, any of the countries, because the attacks basically going to come out of the blue. I think so, stars. I think so. I think it's part of the bigger picture. But I don't talk about it often, but occasionally I do have dreams because I don't do fear mongering. But since I can remember, I've had dreams of nuclear war and the U.S. being bombed. You're right, Ghetto. They do, stars. But y'all know most of my stuff you can't find on mainstream media. They are ghetto, but also, I put out that video yesterday of protest all over the world. The people's trying to stand up against them. How much good them protests will do, I have no clue. But with other countries going, yes, sir, Mr. Ghetto. With all this protest going on worldwide, you don't see it on mainstream media. With all these other countries going back into LD, and I know y'all know what I mean because I don't want to get in trouble. We're going to go back down into it. We all know Potato Head is not to be trusted. He's done lied to us so many times till how can we trust him? It is, Monique. I feel bad that there's you know sheep that's following all this. They're doing what they're told to do. It does look that way, stars. It really does. And I think it was Boston today. I didn't get her. But Boston, I think it was today or yesterday, announced that if you don't have the jab and proof of it, that you will not be allowed into restaurants and all. Yeah, where at? Because I want to see that too, Ghetto. And the more and more I think about it, 45 very well probably was in on it. Oh wow, Ghetto. All right. Oh wow, Monique. There's been a lot of military helicopters coming over my area as well, stars.
Still on your phone? You let Shayna leave anyway?
I was right here where I could hear him.
No, I told her to wait till you were off.
Ah,
I got back. She got mad because I broke his Christmas tree and busted it. But whenever I say go do something, I don't mean for him to stand there. You must have it muted. No? You can hear me? Here, Bubby.
but like I said, 45. You know, may have very well been in on it. I'm not taking up for him, but he could also be being there's a word for it. But anyway, set up, yeah, that's the word for it. Like I said, I voted for the lesser of the two evils.
Yeah, so it wasn't about you telling her she could go. It was about her not staying like I asked her to. She would just see as I'll get out because that and then bring it off at 5. It's so clean.
I moved that because the coffee pot's doing the same way the other one was.
What, it's going everywhere?
The water is. All right, I'm going back to my room. It's starting to cool down outside. I agree, Monique. I'll definitely look at Ghetto once, I end the live. Y'all give me just a minute. I gotta get me something else to drink. All right, sorry about that, guys. I'll definitely check it out. My thing with 45 was he did not get paid for being in office. We all know that you know, pay the president and the what we pay them all. We're just a cash cow to these people. I look at myself as more of a realist than I do anything else. And I'm not going to lie, when his social media comes out, I probably will sign up for it. As a matter of fact, I put it out on Facebook today that after the first of the year, I will no longer have Facebook. I I told my family and friends, y'all want my phone number, just message me and I'll give it to you. What they don't understand is if I don't get along with them, they're not going to get it. But that's not here nor now. I have it like Facebook and quite a few years now. It ain't nothing but a bunch of drama. My dad's brother and I actually got into it over the last election and the election before that. And I just finally told him, you have your feelings and your beliefs, and I have mine. I respect yours. You need to respect mine. He and my dad actually went about a year there where they didn't speak. And all of it now is just to cause a bigger rift and division, not only in country, but in family and friends and everything else. I am still trying to get my viewing hours up. So I'm going to start trying to go live a little more often, besides the news and whatnot. And shoot, y'all can come up on panel with me and we'll just BS back and forth if y'all want to. I'm on Twitter, but I have probably somewhere between 20 and 25 accounts. Oh, I like book clubs too, Jen. I agree, Ghetto. I agree completely. Oh, and something I wanted to mention. Um, my daughter and I will be starting to do a what if series. It'll be, short videos, maybe 20, 25, 30 minute long of, you know, what if this happened or what if that happened, you know, kind of try to help people plan and think ahead. Like I've said before, I don't consider myself Democrat and I don't consider myself Republican. But that's just the way I am. But we do usually wind up getting the worst end of the stick. Thank you, Stars. I actually have the first one already wrote out. I hadn't heard of that before, Monique. I lean towards I'm a creative person. That's true, Stars. It is hard to be in a million places at once. Ah, okay, I get you. I stand for freedom myself. And y'all seen my black flag that I ordered from Amazon. I paid $25, I think it was. And when I went to that place today, I found one for $3. That turned my stomach. I agree, Ohio. I don't believe in it either. I mean, I can see having that procedure done if, in certain situations, like if the baby's life is at risk, or, the mother's life is at risk. But otherwise, I do not believe in it. It really did, Monique. I'm all about trying to save money however I can. But after pulling 36 hours between Monday and yesterday, I should have quite a bit of time on my hands. So I should be here a little more often. But there's some days I just kind of have to turn it off to, get my head straight. So what's on y'all's mind? What y'all want to talk about? I ain't really in no hurry to get it off of here. I'm actually drinking a Coca Cola right now. When we went and got supper, I got a jumbo Coke, and they have the crushed ice. Oh wow, Monique, that's true. Ohio, that really is true. That's kind of what I figured you meant. Take your time, Jen. I've got about 40 minutes before I have to leave. I understand that autocorrect does not like me at all. That's the reason why I'm glad autocorrect is, I haven't got it turned on my laptop. I'm actually hoping to get to go back to the grocery store, um, definitely after Christmas. This time of the year, I refuse to go in the grocery store. Our Walmart stays packed out. But that's what happens when it's the main store in town. Yeah, it's gonna take us about 6 hours to get there and another 6 hours to get back. So I won't get home till after daylight tomorrow. Um, there's Rumble, um, Patreon, and several other sites that you can actually go to that does support freedom of speech, Ohio. Oh, I ain't been to TJ Maxx in about 3 years. But be safe out there, Monique. I actually have Patreon. I just don't use it. I've got to drive at least 30 minutes one way to get to a TJ Maxx. Oh, there is. Um, it's in the creator portal, I think, Ohio. It's you can check with Off the Wall Prepper. He pretty well stays up with that. But the YouTube creator page also has it, I'm pretty sure. I definitely need to check that. Hey Nikki, how are you, hon? We're just chilling and chatting now. I actually don't go to Hobby Lobby much. You're welcome, Ohio. So far, so good. We have one about half an hour from me. Michael's is kind of like Hobby Lobby, isn't it, Monique? Welcome back, Jen. Oh, I understand that, stars. I try not to leave the house very often myself. And I don't go shopping very often unless it's for food. Ooh, that sounds good, Ohio. I know the feeling, Monique. I agree, Nikki. The closer it gets to Christmas, the worse it gets in there. I actually am not big on yard sales. I usually go to the mission store. Monique. Oh, I understand that, Jen. My mom used to go once a week. We actually have enough food in the freezer that I wouldn't have to go shopping for probably about a month. But nobody wants to go through the freezer to see what we have. All right, guys, we at an hour and a half. I'm going to go ahead and call it. That way I'm finished eating. I wasn't thinking about I need to finish eating before I leave. But like I said, I won't be on tonight due to being gone to South Carolina. So I want to wish everybody a good night. And I'm sure I'll catch y'all tomorrow. It'll probably be late tomorrow evening, but because my sleeping schedule is really fixing to get messed up. But y'all have a good night. Y'all be safe. Y'all prep up and pray up. And just know I love y'all and I've always got your backs. Y'all can always email me. And if y'all need to talk, I'll give you my phone number. You're welcome, hon. I'm going to try. All right. Y'all have a good one. Bye, y'all.